All right, what's good, y'all? It's Hoops. I got drafted for a random battle team tour, which is like meant to be like the big sort of random battles forum tournament of the year. I played in RBEL last year, which I think I still have that video from that on my page. I didn't do phenomenally, but I didn't do too terrible either. So yeah. So I signed up for this this I guess season of the tour. To be honest, I wasn't super hopeful on getting in, but you know, I guess my ladder grinding has paid off. So I'm starting for the Mars Shadows in Gen 6, which was, kind of my hope. I mean, yeah, I'm happy with it. So I just played my games on, what was it, Thursday? I just wanted to go over them, sort of explain my thought process. Maybe I'll do this live for my next series. It was just like, it was like 7:30 in the morning playing this game, which I don't know, maybe that's like normal for a lot of people, but I usually get up at like 9, so I was fucking dead tired. So I am just gonna do a little post game recording here, and yeah, so yeah. So I start off with this lead, got the tone to Leavanny. I'm not super happy about this. I got no removal on my team, so I'm like a little bit, sad, as one is if they've ever played randbats before and gotten matched up into webs with no removal. And I know this is webs as well, because this is this has to be Sash Leavanny, just because it's in the lead slot. So got the token be good. I'm not Scarf, which, it could have been nice potentially, depending on what their team is. Just neutralize that webs drop, but it's not too fast in the first place, so I'm not like totally disheartened by it. I've got Lefty's Calm Mind here with, I think, Signal Beam Shadow Ball. So, it could definitely do some work, without question. I go into Registeel here. I just, if they're getting their hazards up, I want to, respond in kind. They can't taunt me. It switches into a Toxic maybe, or a X-Scissor if they want to go for that. But realistically, I expect them to get their webs up here. They knock me, which I thought was interesting. Maybe this was a little bit of a tell here as to what they had in the back, but I don't think I really picked up on it at the time. So, it's whatever. I get my rocks up just because, why not? I'm gonna Tentacruel. I protect just to scout for maybe a rapid spin. They go for knock here, which again I thought was curious. Yeah. I kind of assumed that they were AV, I think. But I stay in on the Scald. At this point, I'm like pretty sure that they're not rapid spin, right? Like they would have gone for it if they had it. So I just figure I will take my chip on this with Seismic Toss. I get really fortunate and don't get burned at all here, which I'm pretty happy about. I go into Lantern here. Just want to keep this around for maybe, one more round of rocks up later. Because, okay, now, I think at this point, I'm still considering it maybe being a spin, but I think he wants to get the burn off on my Registeel so that he can freely go for a spin while I die? I'm pretty sure that was my thought process there. So I go Lantern, save that for later. because I can get rocks up on Leovanni pretty much whenever I want, right? Like I live to knockoffs at this point. So I go Lantern, it'll eat a Scald. Sludge Bomb might be a little bit annoying, but I figure there's not really a huge chance of them going for that there. I can just fire off a T-Bolt. It won't kill, but it will do like, 50, which will, yeah, good damage. They knock me, which is fine. Maybe a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. They switch out into Leovanni here. I think I do T-Bolt again, because they were out of range of Scald. But yeah, like I was saying, Registeel eats pretty well. I figure if they are Rapid Spin, this was kind of a throw, just because now they are in range of rocks. I'm pretty sure maybe they're just outside of it, so still, found it a bit bizarre. Maybe Toxic was the play here. Just put more pressure on them gradually, but I don't think it mattered too much. I think it's pretty potato. I go into Furfrou because it outspeeds everything that I've seen so far. Then we got Zapdos. And maybe like next turn, I mean, definitely next turn, but I understand why they didn't get webs up, and I think this is a very forward play on Amaranth's part here, just because, scouting for rocks, they have defog on the Zapdos, so obviously you don't really want to get webs up until you can be sure that you don't have any hazards up on your side as well, just because if you need to, defog them later. Yeah, thankfully don't get paired by Static there. I get off my Toxic just because why not? They got a Roost there anyways. I go into Lantern here, maybe trying to catch a Discharge or like a T-Wave. No, it'd have to be a Discharge, yeah. I don't know. I think it's like a whatever play. I think sub, which I do have, I'm running Cotton Guard, return Toxic sub. I might have been better, but I don't think it's like a huge difference. So I just go Lantern. I click Scald here just because, oh my god. I click Scald here just to try and catch a Leovanni coming in, right? Because it'll eat both Thunderbolt and Scald, so my hope is that they greed and get burnt in the process. But they make a, smart play. They go Tentacruel, don't want to risk it, which is fair. They do get burnt. It's nice for me, I don't have to eat a Sludge Bomb there. Furfrou will eat everything. Maybe they could go for a knock, but I think it's pretty obvious that they're going for Sticky Web here. So I just go into this. I click Return again. I'm getting very fortunate here, not getting any static procs. That could be pretty devastating for me for sure. Sub up, just because why not? And then I think I start spamming Cotton Guard here, just because I don't want to press my luck with the demon ability. I go Illumise here, which is kind of annoying. I mean, Illumise is always annoying. Right, they can lock me into Cotton Guard now. I will say, I think Toxic here was probably better. Like on either of these turns, just in case they do have something in the back that can eat or, Encore, lock me into whatever. But, it kind of is what it is. I'm not super scared of Illumise as it is. I know they're obviously going to Encore here, so I go Lantern just to get off a Toxic on them, put a timer. What's really nice about... Alright, here, I'll let this turn play real quick. What's really nice about these Toxics is that I can synergize that pretty well with my Gothitelle. Oh my god, I cannot speak. That synergizes pretty well with my Gothitelle. just to keep them taking even more damage. With Illumise, it's a little bit trickier, just because they have a move that hits me super effectively. But if I start Calm Minding up as they Bug Buzz, they either have to Encore me or keep Bug Buzzing, in which case I think I beat them 1v1 in both scenarios. So yeah, and then Zapdos obviously doesn't really do much. I don't know. I think post game, I'm pretty sure that this was not U-turn. I think they would have gone for it. I think it was probably Heat Wave or Hidden Power Ice. I think Heat Wave just because of some later turns in this game, but it could be either for sure. I go Lantern here. I sort of sit here for a while, I think. And I'm really debating on whether or not sacking Lantern is the play here, right? Because I'm looking at like Leavanny, I'm like, well, Leavanny is low, right? I'm trying to determine the worth of Lantern. Because I'm not super scared of Zapdos. I have 2 flying types in the back, but one of them is neutral to Zapdos, so I'm really trying to think of whether or not this is like worth keeping around, or just whether it's more valuable to get damage on Illumise instead. But I eventually think better of it. Zapdos could be annoying. I don't really want it to be discharging for free. I'd like to not allow that to happen. So I go Farfetch'd. It'll eat pretty much anything. It'll definitely eat a Bug Buzz, and then it can threaten back a Brave Bird, or probably a Return just to hit the Zapdos nicely as well. They reveal Regigigas as I return, I don't think knockoff killed there. So yeah, that's why I returned there instead of knocking, which would have been I think this was like a 50. I think it was 50 to kill, but I don't know. I didn't want to take that risk, take a knockoff for no, or like a knockoff into another knockoff for no good reason. I'd rather just take my kill. They reveal Regigigas, which I'm pretty scared of, just because they always run T-Wave, right? Like, I don't really want any of my dudes to get paralyzed. I think this was a little bit of an oversight by me. I do have Heal Bell on my Lantern, which I think I was sort of a little bit ignorant of playing it. Like, maybe not super ignorant, but I usually am not not the most cognizant of using it when I have something like paralyzed. Like, if I have something toxic, I will definitely be clicking Heal Bell, but when I have something paralyzed, I'm like, oh. So it just slips my mind, which should probably not be the case, but it's whatever. I knock here. I get a crit, which is nice, but I don't think it was super meaningful in the long term. I kill this with 2 returns anyways, or like a Brave Bird plus a return, whatever. But I don't really want to let this thing sort of, do its own thing and paralyze all my dudes. I figure that there's a good chance that they knock me here, or just return, just because Thunder Wave and I go into Lantern, it's not the worst for them, but it's certainly more annoying. So yeah, I knock here. I don't really want to have to deal with the thing after Slow Start runs out. So yeah, I just Farfetch, or not Farfetched. I just return there, get a little bit more chip off, and then I figure there's very little chance that they click T-Wave again here, just because of how they've been playing so far. They seem pretty conservative in their style, so Furfur will eat pretty easily. There's no reason for them to knock, so yeah, I absorb the whatever the move is called, the return, pretty easily, and I outspeed them even with the webs just because I'm pretty fast and they're slow as balls. So, yeah. I return here. Thank God they didn't go Zapdos again. I really, yeah, I don't know. I go Farfetch'd, and then, yeah, Farfetch'd just to absorb a T-Wave. If they do decide to go for it, and just sack. Yeah, so Farfetch'd absorbs the T-Wave, absorbs a Bug Buzz pretty well. I think they did that just because they were pretty worried about like a Gothitelle switching in there, which is valid. You know, you want to keep this healthy for at least a little bit longer. So, yeah, or they, you know, expected that, but I don't, like if they were going to do that, I just don't think this turn makes a ton of sense right here. Like why do all of that just to discharge, you know? Yeah, so, you know, I called that out, but I mean, like, it's not really like a call out. Like I switch into this very, very easily. So it's just always my play here. And it's not like I'm too scared of any of these guys yet. So yeah, I go Lantern. What do I do now? Probably just Scald here. Maybe I switch out into Gothitelle, try and trap this. But I think I just Scald. Oh, I Heal Bell. Okay, good job. I do recognize eventually that getting this thing unparalyzed is my play. So I do that, right? And they don't really have a reason to stay in either. So pretty free turn. I think I outspeed them like by like 2 points here, so that's nice. I get my cake and eat it too. Farfetch'd eats everything, no reason not to go into it. They toxic me, which, you know, is whatever. No para on this anymore. Can't get parried anymore, which is cool. I think now I go into Gothitelle, right? Yeah, just trying to keep them chipped, because if this thing is dead, I need either this or this dead, and I win very, very easily. Probably. It depends on what they have as their last, but I figure I'm in a good position either way. So I go Gothitelle, try and keep them stuck with their toxic damage, but they, I assume, call me out there. I don't really know why else you would switch a Farfetch'd or the Avani into a Farfetch'd in that scenario. So, you know, good calling them. I'm pretty committed now, right? Oh, never mind. Not quite yet. I can switch Farfetch'd in pretty freely. Go for a return. You know, as far as I knew that turn, you know, nothing switched into it. So, yeah. They reveal Relicanth. I'm like, oh, this could be scary. You know, Furfrou takes it on somewhat well, but I'm not sure if this is like choice band or not. This thing is already like dead pretty much, so I just decide Knockin' is my safest play. Covers pretty much everything. They reveal weakness policy, which means that they are rock polish, which I'm not too scared of. I think here I Cotton Guard, which I think makes sense, right? If they want to stay in, just click Head Smash. They're gonna take quite a bit. Okay, now I think I go, okay, no, I eat the Encore once, right? Because I figure, okay, maybe they expect me to go Gothitelle here, and they Bug Buzz here to try and catch that. So I can stay in and return here once. And even if they do Encore me, then the next turn I can go into Gothitelle, right? Because they really are going to be wanting to roost at that point. Is my sort of justification. But, you know, they're pretty attentive as to what their situation is, and they call me out on that, which is fair enough. I'm pretty much stuck with my decision there. I don't have anything that can switch into it super well. I could switch Furfrou in, but Furfrou with leftovers is kind of crucial to be able to beat this Relicanth. So I just say, you know, I count my losses. Let this go down to or take a knockoff. Which it eats pretty well. Not well enough to live. Even me say bug buzz, but pretty well. Yeah, I just called here. I think I debate whether or not I want to sack Lantern or not. I said, oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh my god. I decided it's probably for the best over Gothitail, just because I don't like see Gothitail doing a ton here. I'd rather have that, you know, pretty clutch Bolt Absorb at the very end if I really, really need it. So sack Gothitail, right? This is dead anyways. Maybe they could have roosted there, which would have been bad, but I think I was probably fine there. Yeah, so now I reveal Dragonite. I figured this is probably the right time to do so. Yeah. I'm Lumberry, so I don't have to fear a discharge, or a pair from discharge, which they've really been getting pretty unfortunate with procs. I mean, no discharge, no scald, no static, so, you know, sorry about that, but, you know, I'm not gonna not take it. And at this point, I've won the game with like a very, 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 very base amount of luck, just by clicking Outrage. Right, so Outrage again, do pretty decent chip. I'll be honest, I totally thought I outsped them here. Maybe I should have gone for another D-Dance just to guarantee it, but I really was not feeling like pushing my luck against potentially I D-Dance, and then they get a Discharge, Para, and then I get a Static Proc, and then potentially this Relicanth is a lot more threatening. Right, but at 23%, I can just go into Furfrou. I can Toxic it. They go for their outs, try and click Waterfall. Sadly, the luck is not on their side today. And at this point, I've won. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, did not mean to do that. So, I think I played that, you know, decently. It was kind of a shit team for them. Just, you know, webs with no real abusers. It's kind of unfortunate, but I'll take it. So, yeah, that was game one. Game two, I lead Rose Raid into Wall Rain. I figure, I don't know if Amaranth is using a calc in these games, just because he makes a kind of bizarre play on turn one, right? I could be Life Orb. There's a chance I'm Life Orb. Life Orb Leaf Storm, and this thing dies guaranteed. I'm not. I'm Black Sludge Leaf Storm, which does technically still have a chance to KO. It's not. It's like a one roll will kill or one damage roll will kill the Wall Raid. But I also don't die in return to its Ice Beam, so I'm like not opposed to making that trade. I figure Leaf Storm is pretty safe, so I go for it. They decide to stay in, which, you know, unfortunately for them, they do get crit, which guarantees me the kill. Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. But at the same time, like, I was very comfortably living that. I mean, not very. I would probably be on like 30 after 2 turns of leftovers healing. So I don't know. It is kind of sad, but I think that was definitely a positive trade in my favor, just because I don't have to deal with like a toxic protected. Those dudes are always annoying. So yeah. Oh my god. I gotta back up for a sec. They reveal. They reveal Mad Cargo, which I'm not too worried about. I just go Mantine here. They get up Rocks, which is Sorry, give me 1 sec here. They reveal Mad Cargo, which, or I just said that. They put up Stealth Rocks, which is kind of annoying for me. I think I've got like 2 or 3 Rocks weeks on my team. So yeah, not great. I do have removal, so I'm not too upset either. I can just go for a Scald here. I debated Toxic for a little bit, but I decided just Scalding is better, just because it covers them being fucking psychotic and staying in and clicking. I guess they can't be extra power, so yeah, I don't know. Damn, okay. I gotta pay attention more next time. But also, Toxic could have been pretty telegraphed for me. So I don't think Scald is too bad, and also Scald is broken in Gen 6, and just in general, like burned is 12, so I wouldn't have been particularly upset getting a burn either. So I go for that. They click Protect here, I guess, just trying to scout out Toxic there, but I myself don't want to get Toxics. So I switch out. Rose Raid will eat everything. If they're Encore, I super wall. If they're Ice Beam, I still wall. I take like 40-ish from it, so I'm not too worried. Yeah, go for Leaf Storm here, just because it doesn't seem like they have many good switch-ins if they sack their wall right in turn 1. Although Mag switches in fine enough, It takes like 60, which it can recover from. Yeah. Back into Mantine. They go Ambipom, which I'm sort of shitting my pants when I see this, just because I've got very minimal counterplay to it. Mantine certainly isn't the counterplay. I go Rampardos here, just because I figure they'll fake out. They should fake out here, because that'll get them in range to click return. So Rampardos can eat one of those pretty easily, and then if it is low kick, I can eat that well as well. They switch out, right? They've got to fear. They've got to fear like Scarf, Head Smash. That could be pretty bad for them. But I'm not. I am Life Orb, which will still take it pretty well. Yeah, Leaf Storm. Okay, what did I miss? I missed a couple of turns there. Yeah, Rock Slide. They reveal Machamp, which I'm pretty scared about, just because this one hexes quite a bit. But it takes like 42% from Rock Slide, so pretty great chip for me. Rose Raid will eat a Dynamic Punch pretty well. I am a little bit scared of that though, just because Confusion is kind of broken. But they decide to they doubled there. I guess they were fearing Zen Headbutt, which is valid. I can be that, but I'm Fire Punch Earthquake, so yeah. Going to Rose Raid, just Leaf Storm again here is fine. I don't think it'll kill Machamp, but it'll get him real close, and then looking at this team in Rampardos, it just kind of tears it apart. Leaf Storm again, they stay in, which, sure. They don't die to a Leaf Storm. They do take like 90 from it. And they click Ice Beam, which, again, as I was saying, does not do too much to me. So, low damage turn overall. They switch into Mag to eat the Leaf Storm, take like 60. I figure I can greed a Sleep Powder here, just because they're forced to recover here pretty much. And also, even if they don't, Lava Plume is not killing me, so I'll be fine. And if I do sleep it, you know, where's their leaf storm switching? I don't got one, so yeah. Going to Regice here. Why did I go into Regice? Maybe I was anticipating an Ambipom switch. Like, this can deal with Mad Cargo with Focus Blast. Yeah. Maybe I was anticipating an Ambipom. Ambipom switching there, just because I don't really understand this play otherwise. Yeah. So I go Regice. Yeah, they do that. I don't really understand why they don't fake out there. I feel like it's pretty free, but you know, whatever. I just click T-Wave. If I can get this T-Wave, it's no longer a threat, right? So I get that on the Audino, which, you know, isn't too much, doesn't do too much right now, but will be useful later. They instantly pop the Mega, which I think is not a great play. I know it does give them the extra bulk, but I think Regenerator is really useful oh my god, pretty useful for them, right? I have to hit a Focus Blast in order to deal damage to them, which, you know, is not unlikely, but they can like do protect stuff. They got a full health Polytoad, which can eat it pretty well. And also this makes them, again, weak to my Res Raid, which, you know, look at its matchup, it just goes stupid. So, I don't know. I thought that was a little bit bizarre, but I don't know. I just defog here. I'm not too worried if this toxics me. It gets paired twice. I consider for a second just trying to paraflinch this down with Air Slash, but I figure from 100, maybe not quite yet. I can probably play better, at least for a little longer, before I start doing cheese stuff like that. I go Res Raid just because it'll eat a Fire Blast if it is that as well. Though I don't really think it is. Like, it'll eat one, then I can Sludge Bomb, or I can agree to Synthesis and try to go for Paris stuff. I think I'm a champ here. I Sludge Bomb. It's my best move. Yeah, I just stand and Sludge Bomb again. I know this is really good into their team, but like I don't need it. So I'm fine just potentially stacking it to like confusion stuff. They go for knockoff though, which again I think is pretty strange. Like, if you're gonna, like, I understand that, you know, Dynamic Punch is not the super effective move here, but if you're gonna be using Machamp, you should just be spamming that stuff, you know? So yeah, I Leaf Storm again. I don't think that crit mattered. I finally hit a Leaf Storm, actually. I don't think that crit mattered. You know, I think it was always dying there anyways, so. Yeah, that dies, which is a huge burden off my shoulders. Just go Regice here, it'll switch in nicely into Ambipom without Rocks Up. This is oh my god, I cannot speak. Silk Scarf as well from damage. And I assume it's not U-turn as well, which does sort of confirm my suspicions that it's low kick, which it's a good thing I haven't been switching in my Rampardos too liberally into it. Regice can take one and pair it, so it has to be scared. So I know that, like, they don't want to take that, so I just click Ice Stream here, take my damage, and then they're forced to Wish. I go into Rose Raid here, right, and I figure if they do switch out, that's fine for me. They're pretty low, and if they don't switch out, you know, I can just sort of keep them in here for quite a while at least, until they get parried. Like, I don't really need my Regice anymore. Go Mantine here, it's pretty free. I get it 2 turns, which is nice. Click Scald here, and now they're pretty low. I could probably play this, you know, a little bit less luck dependently from here, but like at this point, I'm like, if this auto dies, the game is over, full stop. So I just decide, hey, you know, might as well go for a couple para hacks here, and I get it. So yeah, they forfeit, and that was my first set. Which, you know, I thought I played pretty well. I was worried, just because like I usually get like the pre-game jitters of like big tours that I play in, or just tours in general. So yeah, you know, early morning, I got the jitters. I have like a record right now of like, I don't think I've ever won week 1 of a team tour before, so I'm pretty happy with myself for sure. Yeah, I think I played this game pretty well. I was happy with it. Ambipom could have gone pretty stupid, but I think he played it pretty conservatively, which again I'm thankful for. Yeah, and I don't mean to like throw shade, but I think this was probably one of the easier opponents that I will fight throughout the tour. So I'm excited for some tough games coming up, and hopefully, again, I'll be able to record them and, you know, share my thoughts live. So, you know, stay tuned for that. That's all for me. Ciao.